And U.S. forces have intercepted 3 Iranian oil tankers in Asian waters. They're trying to round up that so-called ghost fleet.
The Pentagon now says a U.S. Navy destroyer shot down several missiles and drones that were launched from Yemen.
If Iran is putting mines in the water or otherwise threatening American commercial shipping or American forces, we will shoot to destroy.
5:26 local, Strait of Hormuz. Dawn paints the Musandam cliffs gold. The sea is glassy, and tanker wakes look almost peaceful. But in 11 minutes, this narrow waterway becomes a trap. 1 Iranian blockade runner, 18 escort craft, 6 armed drones. What unfolds next will rattle every navy watching the Gulf. At its narrowest, the Strait of Hormuz gives you almost no room to hide. The inbound and outbound shipping lanes are just miles wide, pressed between Iranian territory to the north and Oman's Musandam Peninsula to the south. Through this corridor moves a massive share of the world's oil and LNG traffic. That is why U.S. Fifth Fleet sits in Bahrain, why destroyers rotate through the Arabian Gulf, why P-8 Poseidons patrol overhead, and why every radar screen in this theater is treated like a heartbeat monitor for the global economy. Imagine you're here on the bridge of a merchant tanker, engines humming, sunrise off the starboard beam. Ahead of you, civilian traffic. Behind you, more civilian traffic. Somewhere beyond the horizon, warships you can't see are already tracking everything that moves. Heart rate up, palms damp. Because in this water, one bad decision can spike fuel prices, close insurance markets, and turn a shipping lane into a combat zone before breakfast. The crisis began 3 days earlier in this fictional scenario, when coalition mine-clearing operations opened a protected transit corridor after a cluster of suspicious explosions near commercial tankers. Tehran's hardliners now need a response that looks bold without triggering full-scale war. Their answer is a calculated demonstration. Send a heavily modified Iranian logistics vessel through the corridor under naval escort, force the Americans to blink, and prove that no maritime screen can seal Iran out of its own doorstep. The ship is real enough in profile to be believable. A large Iranian auxiliary, slow but sturdy, her decks packed with containers, fuel bladders, electronic warfare gear, and a concealed boarding detachment. Around her, the screen forms fast. 4 missile boats, 14 fast inshore attack craft armed with rockets, heavy machine guns, and shoulder-fired missiles. Above them, 6 one-way attack drones launched from the Iranian coast. Their commanders believe the crowding of civilian shipping is their shield. They believe U.S. commanders will hesitate. They believe confusion buys time. There's a problem with their plan. They are trying to run a blockade in the most watched patch of water on Earth. Long before the first escort boat surges forward, the track is already dirty. Its emissions don't match its declared identity. Its speed changes are too precise. Its escorts are too disciplined to be smugglers and too aggressive to be innocent. While Iranian commanders think they are staging a performance, American and coalition censors are already stripping the act down to raw intent. Now you're in the U.S. Operations Center in Bahrain. Fluorescent light, headsets on. A digital map of 2.5 million square miles of water, but all eyes are fixed on one tightening knot near the shipping lanes. A Task Force 59 unmanned surface vessel flags abnormal maneuvering. AP-8, a Poseidon overhead, uses radar and electro-optical sensors to refine the picture. Data flows to Task Force 55, responsible for surface forces in theater. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer already on station receives the track. Her SPY radar sweeps. Her combat information center goes quiet in that dangerous way quiet rooms do before something violent happens. Possible coordinated breakout attempt. That phrase changes everything. At 0538, warning calls go out on bridge-to-bridge channels in English and Farsi. Alter course, reduce speed, prepare to be inspected. The answer is not verbal, it's movement. The Iranian auxiliary accelerates. Escort boats fan wide, trying to force commercial traffic outward and fracture the corridor. 2 drones dive low over the water to distract the destroyer. The rest climb for separate attack angles. This is no navigation dispute, not a misunderstanding, not an accident. This is a deliberate push. Could you make that call with tankers within visual range? Fire too early, and you risk escalation. Fire too late, and a mined or missile hit channel becomes a global crisis. 4 seconds. That's all the destroyer's captain gives himself after the final ignored warning. The first shots are not the kill shots. A 5-inch Mk-45 gun barks, warning fire across the auxiliary's bow, violent enough to throw spray over her foredeck like shattered glass. The ship does not turn. Then the sky opens. An MH-60R Seahawk lunges in low, hunting the outer ring of fast attack craft. One escort boat veers hard. Too late. Precision fire slams into the lead craft, shredding her engine block and leaving her dead in the water. Another comes on anyway. Bow rising, wake boiling white, crew exposed behind gun shields. The destroyer's Mk-38-2 5mm mounts rip the surface ahead of it, then walk rounds up through the hull. The boat rolls, burns, disappears into smoke. Minute 4, first 2 drones splashed. Minute 7, outer escort broken. Minute 11, auxiliary still running. That is the rhythm now. Short calls, sharp turns, weapon releases. The P-8 keeps feeding the picture from above, watching for missile cues from shore. Coalition aircraft farther back stand ready, but for now, this is a Navy fight in close water. You're in that cockpit now, looking down through vibration and glare, trying to separate hostile skiffs from terrified civilian traffic. One wrong identification changes lives forever. The Iranian formation tries the classic swarm logic. Not one threat, many. Not one angle, all angles. A fatal miscalculation, because swarms work only when the defender sees fragments. This defender sees the network. The remaining drones come in at staggered altitude. One is cut down by naval gunfire. Another falls after electronic disruption, breaks its terminal path. A third detonates harmlessly in the water astern of the destroyer, throwing up a column of spray taller than the bridge windows. Fast boats close from both quarters, hoping to force the American ship to defend itself instead of stopping the runner. But while they believed they were the predators, the hunt has already reversed. A second MH-60R isolates 2 missile boats trying to hide in traffic shadows. One loses steering, the other turns away, black smoke trailing. A Coast Guard patrol cutter and 2 armed RHIBs surge forward to block the inside lane. Over encrypted circuits, the order comes from Theater Command. Disable the auxiliary. Preserve the hull if possible. Board if compliant. Seize if necessary. That is the pivot. Not a sinking, not a spectacle, a calculated demonstration. The destroyer shifts aim from intimidation to surgical violence. Another 5-inch round slams just aft of the auxiliary's bridge, tearing antennae and mast hardware into twisted metal. Then precision fire targets the rudder space. A follow-up strike chews through the port shaft line. The ship yaws hard, momentum bleeding away, her wake collapsing into foam and confusion. She is still afloat, still dangerous, but she is no longer free. From the enemy's view, this is the worst possible outcome. Their showcase was supposed to prove resolve. Instead, every camera, every satellite, every listening post in the region is now watching an Iranian state-backed vessel lose propulsion under layered surveillance and measured force. Political theater has become tactical humiliation. But the fight is not over. Small arms fire flashes from the auxiliary's stern deck. American boats jink outward. The destroyer answers with controlled suppressive fire, pinning defenders behind cargo stacks. A Seahawk hovers off the starboard quarter, door guns trained, rotors pounding the sea into a gray frenzy. You can almost feel it in your chest. Salt spray, hot brass, radio traffic clipped down to essentials. Bridge secure? Negative. Engine room status? Dead in the water. Boarding team go. Visit, board, search, and seizure teams launch from RHIBs as the crippled ship wallows inside the corridor. Hook ladders up, first men over, then more. One team drives for the bridge. Another cuts aft toward engineering. A third sweeps container rows looking for demolition charges, anti-ship missiles, anything rigged to turn the ship into a floating trap. Could you climb that ladder knowing the next hatch might open on rifle fire? This is where doctrine becomes pulse rate. Resistance lasts less than 6 minutes. The bridge is taken first. Engineering follows. 2 compartments are secured after flashbangs and hard entry. On the weather deck, surviving crew throw down weapons and go face first to the steel. The boarding officer's first report is the one every commander wanted to hear. Vessel under control. No catastrophic damage. Cargo suspicious. Documents seized. Explosives. Teams requested. Minute 29. Propulsion killed. Minute 34. Bridge seized. Minute 42. Vessel captured. final tally in this fictional scenario. 6 drones launched, 6 neutralized, 18 escort craft committed, 11 disabled, 4 driven off, 3 retreating under smoke. 1 Iranian auxiliary stopped and seized intact, 0 merchant ships hit, 0 U.S. ships lost. Strategic impact on the blockade attempt? Total failure. And that is the real lesson. Modern maritime combat is not just about who has more hulls, faster boats, or louder slogans. It is about who sees first, connects fastest, and decides cleanly under pressure. Information dominance turns swarms into targets. Integrated systems turn narrow water into controlled battle space. Training turns chaos into sequence. Less time than your morning commute. 42 minutes from first warning to seizure. 42 minutes that tell every regional commander the same hard truth. If you try to force a result in the Strait of Hormuz against a layered, networked naval defense, hesitation is not what will kill you. Confidence might. How does this change your view of modern warfare? Share your take. Subscribe to join the discussion.